Welcome to our new call. It's called the Collaborative Call. We changed the name because it's going to have a little bit different format and different time, obviously, but also we're going to have some guest speakers. So we're glad that you joined us. This is every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, and all you have to do is go to collaborativecall.com like you guys did that are attending, but you can also invite guests. So, in order to invite guests, you would just invite them to that specific call and then give them that URL, collaborativecall.com. And I wanted to point out that this isn't just another training, it's really a platform for us to use as leaders or rising stars for you to not only step up if you want to speak, but also collaborate and contribute, right? And that's what really makes our group unique is the different experiences that we have, the different people that we have in our organization. And as we look to attract people to this organization, we really want to make sure that we have something to offer of value. And that's what this call is all about. So we want to make this call the heartbeat of the Game Changer organization. And currently, there are 4 leaders that have stepped up and are leading these calls. Like I mentioned, we'll also have occasional guests and an open opportunity for people in our organization to share their talents or knowledge or story. So if you know someone that you think would be a great guest, you can always reach out, let us know. We have a sign up sheet. Or if maybe you present or train agents and you have a topic that you think would be valuable, then you have that opportunity as well. So we're kind of keeping it open for those types of things. So these are your 4 hosts, Janie Coffey, which since Janie and John are on here, I'm going to let them kind of do a little intro. Lars is not with us today, but Lars Hedenborg, he is the owner of Real Estate B School. It's a coaching and training company for leaders and top agents and teams to really learn about how to scale their business through lead generation and systems and leverage. And then my name is Stacy Peterson, and I'm a real estate agent. Also, was a former team leader. I sold my team, and now I get to coach agents and build my organization, which is really what my passion is. So, Janie, why don't you go next? Introduce yourself, and then John, you can as well.
Hey, thanks, Stacy. Thanks, everybody. Yeah, I'm about to celebrate my 4th year at EXP. Super excited about that. I'm the co-chair of the luxury division here at EXP. So a lot of the training that I will give is either on luxury or just simply raising your average price point. I know selling luxury is not for everybody. That's not everybody's jam, but I think most people would get excited about raising their average price point by maybe adding some low tier luxury to their inventory. Often mostly on the listing side. That's kind of my 2 things is luxury listing. So excited to connect with you guys and train and get everything kind of going again. We had it going for a while. It slowed down a little bit and we're back again, big and bold and strong. So
Yes, awesome. Thank you. John.
Yeah, no, excited to be here. I like the idea of this call being more of a collaborative call instead of just being taught at or spoken to. It's a way for us to kind of connect. It's a way for you to bring, any kind of questions or uncertainty that you have around selling real estate or the opportunity that we have at EXP to these calls, and we can kind of dig into all that. Having been a top producing agent, team leader, broker owner, I'm now in my 3rd market. So I've done real estate in New York, in North Carolina for 14 years, and now I live in Bozeman, Montana. I think I bring a perspective to it that's unique and well-rounded. And the type of training and coaching that I do is straight on. Like I don't teach and coach about things that I haven't actually done. And I think with co-sponsorship and the opportunities at EXP now, there's just more of a collaborative environment where if you connect with somebody and somebody's there that you feel like can help advance and grow your business, then you can make those connections and you can move your business forward in that way. Some of the things that I'm going to particularly talk about are, running a team effectively, the accountability structures and the tracking that needs to be in place, and also, how to build a revenue share organization effectively. because it's not just what you're able to do in revenue share, it's what you're able to help your people do. So there's a lot of duplication in it, and it's pretty nuanced. Even though it's simple, it's not easy. And we can definitely dive into some conversations about that. We can have conversations specific to people that you're trying to bring over. So yeah, looking forward to all that. And it looks like we did get Lars. I know he was tied up, but it
Yeah.
looks like he broke free. So I'm going to let him introduce himself as well.
Yo, I'm just wondering who all these good-looking folks on the screen are. Holy cow.
I
Man.
know, we're like a magazine. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, and
I'm
it's
requesting an updated picture because I'm like 40 pounds lighter than I was in that picture. Just
I like this background though. So go
yeah,
stand in front of that and then okay.
cool.
yeah, so I was super excited when Stacy decided to resurrect this call here. Um, and in terms, are we just doing like a quick intro, what we think we're going to get out of this call and what we're going to add and all that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, so um, yeah, agents are just struggling. Like, being in the coaching business and, you know, and even back in the sales seat in that business and talking to a bunch of agents and like there's just massive, massive pain right now in the industry. And I think a lot of it is unspoken, so it's like for me, I think the value that I can add and Stacy's been a part of my journey since the first day, literally. Um, and so she knows this and she tried to tell me this many, many times. And I think God has humbled me to the point where like agents are struggling to sell a home this month. They don't know how to lead generate. They don't know how to build a database. They don't, so there's just a lot of basics, that we can focus on together in the blocking and tackling and the building of the actual foundations. When we look at, Stacy, Janie, and John and I have this perspective, of seeing what the top agents are doing and maybe agents that aren't at that level, they like to see like, okay, so I'm going to do that thing, or I got to run billboards or radio. It's like, no, you need to do what they did for the first 10 years was build a database, get their socials straight, add value, treat your clients really well, get referrals. And then if that's all you do, you'll have a business where you're in the top 1%. 1% of agents last year sold 25 homes. 1%. Right. And we get to hang around people that sell a lot of homes, but the 99% of agents, or at least 90%, are not where they want to be financially. And so it's just like, really, could we, as a collective here, can we bring like the true value? I'll bring less spreadsheets, maybe a spreadsheet every once in a while. I will bring some spreadsheets, I promise you. Um, but it's just like, how can we come together to serve, agents that are willing to show up? And that's my ask. If you're watching this live, which there aren't a lot of people watching this live, but if you watch this recording, commit to being here every week. You're going to be learning from, the collective here, and we're going to involve a lot of other agents too, from what I understand is that we've sold a lot of real estate in the shitty markets, and we've seen a lot of agents doing a lot of things that don't make them money, and they're like all Instagram awesome, but like they're getting a divorce or they had a heart attack or whatever. So from this group here, I think we can keep it like super real. Like these are the things that you 100% need to focus on and eliminate the other crap that you're chasing, and just get the truth every week from this group. And I think you'll be in a good position. And are we opening this group to as a like non-EXP agents can come?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
so this is going to be an awesome group. Like we promise to bring stuff, you know, to this call that you'll be proud to send people that aren't a part of this. And tell them to show up 4 weeks in a row and get a flavor of the caliber of people that we have, but also the message and what we stand for and what we're going to teach and all that. So I was so excited to see this call come back on. I got a little exhausted, like running it myself, if I'm being honest. But now Stacy picked up the torch, and she's the driver behind this call getting back together. I'm not sure if you announced that, but so we have Stacy to thank for this. But yeah, bring your recruits to this. Bring other agents that are never going to leave their brokerage, but they're not getting any training there anyway. And
Yeah.
let us train them and teach them.
I'd
You know,
also
in a
to say this is open to also all EXP agents, even if they're not at Game Changers, because especially with the co-sponsorship opportunity, there's a ton of agents at EXP that don't have anything to plug into. They don't have an upline, so to speak. So we can provide that to them, and then we can also provide co-sponsorship opportunities with them if they have a good prospect, because now they have somebody they can plug into together and get the benefit of everything we have to offer.
Let's go.
Yeah, and I think, I look at, the value that we're adding, not so dissimilar to like a good real estate database strategy. So it's like, how many touches and like meaningful touches are you sharing with them? This is just an additional meaningful touch that you should definitely be promoting to all of your frontline agents and any orphan agents that like I know here in Bozeman, there's a lot of agents that are in EXP, but they don't have any upline support anywhere near them, like even within states near them. So like if you have examples like that in your market or other EXP agents, invite them into this. Like, let's now that we have the co-sponsorship opportunity and a way for us to really like partner with these other agents in a meaningful way that doesn't hurt them, it only helps them. Let's be those encouragers and like bring them into some real value, because the collective expertise that we have, not only with the leadership on this call, but the people in our organization and what you guys are already doing right now is amazing. And this is an opportunity for us to showcase that.
Yeah. I feel like, what could I add to that? Right. That was so good. But yeah, I agree. I think the more we all, and I will drop this first recording into our Facebook group so that people can get it. But otherwise we won't have the recording available. And so, really to come and participate, I think is going to be so much of it, which I actually have a slide to talk about. So first, I just kind of put together some of the topics that most likely will be presented. And we've mentioned some of these already, but like Janie was talking about luxury, to have somebody that's on the luxury council actually helping to run these calls is so big. Otherwise, unless you were in the luxury division, you wouldn't have access to that kind of knowledge or training. Or, I mean, Janie knows when they drop something new or when they have certifications coming up. And so we're really lucky to have that. And so if you have agents, again, that are interested in luxury, interested in learning, this is a way for them to get information, see Janie on the call as well. And, then you can obviously connect with her as well. But this is a really good spot to bring them in order to hear some more too. We will talk about, you're welcome. We will talk about social media, investing, growing your production, mindset, different types of frameworks. Lars and I are actually in a coaching program together. Not B school, well, B school, but like a one where we're coached. And they talk about frameworks a lot. And I just love it. And I'm sure he's the same way, always trying to think about like, okay, how could we take that framework and like put it into something for realtors to use? Because it's more of a broader business framework, but you'll see some of that coming. Gaining leverage in your business planning, funnels, EXP announcements. So if you're not plugged into EXP, fortunately or unfortunately, I don't know, that sort of has become my thing, is like I try to stay so plugged into everything that EXP has. So I'll bring that information here. Sales skills and then business tools. And so it won't always be like something that the presenter's presenting, they're just going to hand it to you. You're going to have to come and participate and consume and then go and do it yourself. Not necessarily, because how many of us have like a graveyard of a Google Drive full of things that we've like never used? Me. And I've got a graveyard of classes and modules and things I've paid for that I've never done either. I was excited about it like last week and now I'm not. And so, whatever happened to it.
One of the things that I think EXP has done a good job of over the last, couple months that's been helping me with my Google Drive graveyard is these toolkits.
Mm.
The
Yep, we're going to
toolkits
talk
that
about
they're
those.
putting out are just freaking unbelievable. They just released another sponsorship toolkit last week. I mean, This stuff is really good, guys. Like, you don't have to reinvent the wheel anymore. It's like the value is all stacked there for you.
Totally. I love those. I'm going to show those too,
Okay,
the
cool.
toolkits and where you're going to get that information as well. Anything else to add, Janie, Lars? Oh, look at the doggy.
Mhm.
No. No, Janie probably does as bad a job marketing herself, not in a negative way, but she's so humble like Stacy. But I think just the commitment needs to be to show up to this call. And Janie and Stacy are amazing. Like you're gonna learn so much. And if I can be down on the four of us a little bit for a second, we are not hypey, but we've sold a gazillion homes,
Mm.
and we've done it in a way where, like, if you don't know Janie yet or you don't know Stacy yet, and even John, I mean, you guys have cooler stories than I easily tout my. I don't have any like problem touting myself, but you guys have all achieved that, like the freedom, the like sold my business. I went in an RV trip, like, I now I'm like went to Europe for 30 days. I mean, you're gonna be
Janie
learning
has a
from,
farm too.
and I have a farm, like, and I have goats and like all the stuff. You're gonna be learning from people that have achieved at all the levels, and they remember what it was like to be in the grind and what you need to do to get to that next rung. So, like, to be a part of this group is really gonna be a special thing.
Yeah. Also, all of us on this call too, like toil over what to present to you guys. I bet I wrote 6 presentations between yesterday and today of like, what should we talk about? I want it to be so impactful. So the pressure is real in a good way. So we want to deliver, for you guys in the best way possible without making it, just too much, like Lars said, hype. And it's only going to be stuff we've done, used, or maybe heard someone used it and they showed us proof. You probably, if you know anything about the four of us, we're all about, you better just show us the receipts because we're definitely not going to believe you until we see it. And then we'll let you know if we believe you after that. Like, so anyway, we want to do a really good job by you guys as well. So as we've kind of been mentioning, there are some expectations and agreements as well. We want you to show up weekly because plugging in consistently helps you grow, and it might not be the best training you ever heard, but you might get this one little nugget, and that nugget created a ripple effect in your business or was a micro win. Or when you bring a guest and you see a full Zoom call, that's impressive, right? And so that's how we get that, is by this strong, healthy energy, prospects attending, and it's on us to invite them, right? This call can be used for agent attraction, but also just to grow your business. So we also have the new co-sponsoring opportunity, like we mentioned. And so this is just a really good call to learn about all those things, to invite others to it. And like Lars said, show them what it's like in our world and give them a good look at it. It doesn't have to be one call, you're done. Sorry, we're never giving you the link again, you know, and then us as a group obviously attend. And then number 3, be flexible. So the four of us we want to do this, but we don't have like this big staff behind us to like run this call. So we're not going to probably have a published agenda for you. We probably won't put reminders on Facebook all the time. I put all the events in there until the end of the year. So you've got that. So if you check the Game Changer Facebook page, you'll see that. There won't be recordings. This is going to be a live call. So you have to come show up because this call is all about building something together. So, just like when you go to school, you got some rules. I figured I better throw them in here. Okay. So today, with the rest of our time, what I just wanted to go over is, in case you're like, I know there are so many awesome things happening at EXP, I just literally don't know everything that's happening. I will tell you my main way of getting all the information is number 1, workplace. So as you know, we have the EXP announcements always come to the top of our workplace, EXP news. I read that. I'm not in Workplace every day, but I read that and it generally sends me like an email that says, hey, here's like the few things you missed. So that's how I get my information. Also attending the state meeting. Some state meetings are better than others, but just know that there are lots of ways to get your information from EXP. So a few things that I want.
Can
Yeah,
I ask one quick question that drives me nuts? Are the state meetings in every state on Tuesdays? Does anybody know that?
no, they're not because mine are on Wednesday.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
I just couldn't find that answer anywhere.
Yeah. Nope, because mine are Wednesday. Okay. So one of the first things let me just run through these quick. I'm going to name them all, and then I'm going to show you the information. Otherwise, I'm going to have to share, unshare, and that'll be super annoying. So the things that I'm going to show you today are co-sponsoring. The top 250 team and individual has an event coming up. So if you are in that group, you should have received an email. And if you haven't, you can reach out to Mindy Grubb on Workplace. But that's for the top 250 teams, top 250 individuals. There is a training May 20th or 21st.
21st.
21st. Okay, thank you. And there's an event in Dallas. So if you think you should be on that list, reach out to her. Fixer AI for capping and icon agents. I'll show you that. The land and ranch division, fast cap. You've probably heard about that, but if you haven't, the elite solo agent training and team training that's separate from the top 250 that I mentioned. The toolkits, which John said, regional rallies and EXPCon, and then build events and Cabo. All right, I am going to share my other screen now. Actually, I'm gonna do it that way. And I'm going to show you where to find this stuff and give you, the information about it. I had to open up all these tabs. I'm like, how the world am I going to remember to find all this stuff live on the call? Okay, co-sponsorship. Raise your hand if you feel like you understand co-sponsorship. Half of the call. Okay, perfect. No problem. If you need an explanation, you can reach out to one of us, John, Janie, or I. And I want you to go through this toolkit first. So if you go to exptoolkit.com/co-sponsor, and I'm going to show you how to find all the toolkits in one spot too. But this is specifically for the co-sponsor toolkit. It talks about what it is. So basically, in a nutshell, instead of just coming in with one sponsor, maybe this is led by the sponsee, by the way. So the person that is being sponsored, it is to be led by, but they may get an idea about it from the person they're naming as sponsor. Okay. And so maybe there's someone that they know you personally, they're going to come to EXP because of you, but they want to know more about luxury. So you might pull Janie in as an optional co-sponsor. Maybe they want to know, maybe they were a broker owner and they're like, I would love to talk with another broker owner. And so maybe you bring John in as a co-sponsor, right? Maybe they're like, hey, I need coaching. I need to grow my production. You might talk to Lars as a possible co-sponsor, right? So you could pull in anyone as a co-sponsor, but those are just a couple examples. So in the co-sponsorship toolkit, you will see videos. So here's the explainer. Here's Russ explaining it. There's going to have the benefits in here of why and what it is. And by the way, with our co-sponsorship, it is not like other companies where the two people that are primary and co-sponsor have to split the revenue share. We do not here. One's level 1 to them, one is level 2, but I'm not going to go too deep into it because I want you to go through this toolkit so you can hear the whole story of it and then understand it. Who's eligible for the program? Anybody that joined between February 24th and May 1st can choose a co-sponsor. And then of course, anybody that joined May 1st on can choose a co-sponsor as well. They did this little one sheet of a co-sponsor. I suggest watching the videos first, like do this in order and you'll be able to understand it much better. Anyway, a whole bunch of FAQs. They link to some other toolkits in here, but this is definitely a great, I'm gonna copy this link for you, a great resource. And it's okay if you have questions after that. Like, not a problem. Let us know and we're happy to help you and answer them too.
And I just want to say, the only people who can't co-sponsor are directly in a line, like sponsor, 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 sponsor. But you can co-sponsor with your line cousin, so to speak. So game changers can co-sponsor with fellow game changers as long as they're not your own sponsor or your grand sponsor or somebody down your line. But side by side, totally fine.
Yep, exactly.
So a good example of that for clarity is like, I can't co-sponsor with somebody in my 7 levels of revenue share, but Stacy, who's in my revenue share group, and Dave, who's also in my revenue share group, they can co-sponsor with each other because they're not in each other's lines.
That's right. Yep.
This is going to be, just for those who haven't quite fully embraced, this is going to be huge for EXP. It's going to be huge for attraction because up until now, people who didn't have a great upline supporter themselves couldn't, provide support, maybe didn't do a lot of attraction or they felt uncomfortable, but now they can partner up with somebody and it's a win-win. And it's great for retention and stickiness because now you've got two people loving on them, giving them support. So there's just so much collaboration that's going to come out of this co-sponsorship program. And like Stacy said, other brokerages have something like this that looks like a super diluted version of what we have to offer here. So if you haven't really dived in, I think you should. It's to me, it's probably the biggest thing besides the luxury division that we've come up with at EXP in the last, 4 years since I've been here.
Yes. And I did a video on co-sponsorship and I dropped that in the Game Changers Facebook group end of April. So
That's
if
what
you
I
look,
send to everybody who wants to understand it. I thought you did a great job, Stacy. I literally sent it to a
Thanks.
girl this morning.
Thanks. There you go. So you can check it out if you want to. Okay. Next, I said that I would tell you guys where to, oh, sorry, back to co-sponsoring. Where you can get the co-sponsorship form is in My eXp Realty. Then you're going to go to Tools, and then you scroll down to the bottom and it says co-sponsor intake form. So let's just say Jim Fury and Eric Chapman want to, let's say Jim was bringing someone into EXP and the guy was actually local to Eric Chapman. And so Jim said, "Hey, Eric, do you want to co-sponsor this person with me?" And Eric's like, "Sure," and you guys meet and the sponsee agrees and everything's cool. Then the sponsee would come in here and fill out this intake form. Okay. So they fill that out after they fill out their join app is how it's working currently. So what that means though is now Jim and Eric can build a revenue share line down below them. So because this person that was brought in, now Jim and Eric get revenue share off of that. The primary sponsor, actually, I'm not going to get into all that. You can watch the video and some of you have, but anyway, this is where that co-sponsor form is. And then if you have co-sponsored someone, if you go to earnings, and then it will show up here at the bottom as a co-sponsee. So I have one. So it'll show up there. Okay, next I was talking about Fixer AI. Has anybody signed up for Fixer AI yet?
I haven't
Okay.
even heard of it.
So Fixer AI is basically an AI attachment for your email that helps you respond to emails quick, and it organizes your inbox. It automates meeting notes and helps with scheduling meetings. So what it'll do is when you have an email, it will actually write responses for you. I believe it's 2 or 3, and then you can choose which one you want. Boom, sends it out. So why we get this, it's free for capping and icon agents, and then it's going to be released to influencers for free. The reason that we got this is because Glenn started using it and he was so impressed with it and said, I want it for the agents. So that's just so cool. Like, you guys, we get all these add-ons that most companies, like, he didn't even have to say a word. No one would even known if he was using Fixer or not. So I found this in Workplace. You can see I just searched Fixer. But if you go to fixer.com/EXP, and then you sign up, it tells you like all the information here. Actually, I'm just going to copy this. So in the chat, I will put the link to this. I think it'll go to just, oh, it might go to this one. Actually, sorry, don't copy that link. Hold on. You need this link. Here you go. This is the exact one that I'm showing you on the screen. So ignore the first one that I dropped. Oh, I can delete it. There we go. Okay. And it shows you how to sign up and what to do. Okay. So there is that. The next one, and Janie, I might let you talk about this because I think you put in the chat. Oh, it says right here, launch and certification event. But EXP just launched Land and Ranch, which is so cool. As Janie mentioned in the beginning, we have a new division, and you guys look at just the assets for this. So pretty, so nice.
And I
Like,
put the links to the presentation and whatnot in the chat. One thing that people keep asking is, why is Land and Ranch more expensive than EXP Luxury? And the reason that it is because the syndication is more expensive. So for Land and Ranch properties to syndicate to land.com, it's just more expensive. So that's the reason that it's more expensive than luxury.
You do
oh,
get a discount, a slight discount, if you also belong to luxury. Because
20%, right?
yeah, they're something like that, because they're run, I think that's right, because they're run through the same system. But this is huge, 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 huge. And it's not just land and ranch like Montana type, but think farms, equestrian estates, because even through the whole East Coast in Central Florida, there's lots and lots and lots of land, ranch, equestrian farms, things like that. And those are very costly, like John said, for the listing distribution, if you're trying to pull this off individually.
mm.
Um,
Like
every
it's 5 acres minimum, and 5 acres in Montana is like not a ranch, but 5 acres of vineyard in California certainly is.
right.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we don't, that's funny. So I didn't even think about that, but South Dakota as well. We're sort of split in half, the state. One side would call whatever kind of land we have acreages, and then the other side would call it ranches. So yeah, so true. It's all different, right? No matter where you live. So the free certification, as you can see, and Janie put it as well, May 8th at noon Eastern, and you can register right here on the site. So I will drop that link too.
You, the free certification is if you don't have 3 transactions, 5 acres or more in the last 2 years, you need to have a certification, and it normally costs. They're giving this to you for free, but you would have to join EXP Land and Ranch within 2 weeks to have it count as your certification.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
I wondered
I
about
think
that.
everybody who sells or is interested in land and ranch should still do the certification anyway, even if you're not going to join right now, because it's really great training. And they do have a branding only version. The normal version, I think, is like almost $3,000 annually, like John said, because of the listing distribution. But they have a branding only version that I think is only like $9.95.
Yeah, that's
That does
correct.
not include the listing. So if you don't have the listings yet, but you want to get them, you could do the certification for free, join for the $9.95 as the branding only. And then when you get a listing, then you could join the full listing distribution portion as well.
Ooh, good point. All right, perfect. Okay, Fast Cap. Fast Cap is open for everyone, but I guess it's not sell out, but the signups, like they have to cap it at so many people and it goes so quickly. So Fast Cap just started actually, or starts tomorrow. And as you can see, it says enrollment closed here. But when you sign up for Fast Cap, you get access to the course. So you'll be able to go through the course and then there's live calls as well. So you get both of that. So be sure, I would say if you're not where you want your sales to be, Fast Cap is just a great option. Take it. It's not for just new agents, but also if you are new to EXP, 100% you need to go into Fast Cap.
I mean,
And you're
anybody who's struggling needs to go to that. I mean, whether it's a team member, you're bringing on a new person to your team or a frontline and they're not where they want to be in sales. Like guys, like Lars was saying earlier, some of this stuff is just basic foundational stuff that we need to start doing. Fast Cap's going to get them doing. It's going to put all of that workload and that onus on the company to deliver. And this has been the most successful program that we've ever run company wide.
Yes, the average is 17 signed agreements in a year from this class. So when it was annualized out. Okay, real fast here. The Elite Solo Agent Mastermind is with Jared James and Leo every third Tuesday. So you have to produce 4 million and above. And then they also have a mastermind call. So I will drop this link if you have not gotten this information or missed it in your email. There's the link for that. And then if you are a team leader, I couldn't find the link to it because I couldn't find it on Workplace. But if you join this Teams at EXP team leader group, the information will 100% be in there. And Chet Black runs that same thing. I think it's like the third Thursday. And then Leo's on that call as well. Okay. In order to get to all of the toolkits, because we have so many toolkits, as you can see here, we have a toolkit hub. So on this page, and I will link it here for you, we have the buyer toolkit, seller toolkit, growth toolkit for US and Canada, RevShare, Canva, sponsorship, so how to build strong relationships, co-sponsorship, lead protection, luxury growth, and Regional Rally even has a toolkit. So I keep this link. You can see there's like a little star here. I keep it bookmarked. And so when someone's like, hey, what about this? I can get that toolkit linked to them super fast. Regional rallies, which is in that toolkit, but if you didn't know it's happening right now, they are happening until June 5th. And so, well, you'll have the link to that from the first bout of toolkits, but you can see the dates here. So we are what's today, the 6th. So Detroit's happening today. Oh, that's right. Somebody told me that because they couldn't come to the call. Columbia, Atlanta, Orlando, Dallas, you can see they're all over the place. So if you have the chance to join them, please do. Yep, you're welcome. See you later. EXPCon, if you have not registered. You guys, last year's EXPCon in Miami was amazing. And all the hotels they suggest are like walking distance easily. Like even as, you know, a woman, sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't want to stay too far because if I have to walk back, you know, weird times or whatever, or I don't want to get a whole bunch of Ubers, you don't even have to worry about it. It is so walkable, super safe. Loved it. So try to come to EXPCon. As you heard, the speakers last year were really good. And so I know they'll have great speakers this year when they announce them. So get your tickets for that. And then if you were ever at Build, it used to kind of be in July, Tony Robbins would come. They sort of split it up. So it's all over the world, I guess, because we have some in South Africa, Vancouver, Barcelona, Spain, and you can see the other locations here. If you have not attended a Build event is not an EXP sponsored event. Brent Gove has sort of the toolbox for these, and then people sign up to lead these build events. And so if you go to brentgove.com or buildevent25.com, I guess, even easier, you will have access to these. And then real quick, the last announcement I have is Cabo. If you've not been to Cabo, go bring your spouse. It's amazing. I know Jim's been there. I've been there a few times. Jim's been there a few times. They're just awesome. And there's so much time to network. Your spouse is like not bored, just sitting around going, ugh, how fun is this? No, we're only in conference for like 4 hours. And then there's plenty of time at the pool. It's all inclusive. But I heard that the hotel that was released is almost sold out. And it came from actually a reliable person, not someone with hype, not someone with any money in it, like nothing like that. It was literally like the hotel is close to sold out. So they don't charge your card for the hotel until December. So people are always looking for rooms. So you'll be able to get rid of it, or you could cancel it. But they will charge you for your event ticket right away. So that is what I've got for you guys. Any questions at all? No?
No,
Okay.
this is exciting.
Yes. What'd you say, Eric?
I'd said just very appreciative of the call.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome, you guys. Okay, perfect. Well, we'll see you then next week, 1 p.m. Eastern, collaborativecall.com. And John will actually be presenting on lead generation strategies. So John is up next week. So, all right, we'll see you then. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.